We officially have Microsoft panicked, gamers, and I 100% believe the reason for this delay is because they've seen what's happened with Avowed, they've seen what's happened with Dragon Age, and they know they're not going to be able to get away with whatever the heck this transgender, blackish, ambiguous race, non-binary something or other. Is there a term for this? If there's a term for this, please leave that in the description below. But this was the image that, of course, struck the world about a year ago, a little longer, I guess, when they started releasing images from the new Fable game, and they showed that they have no idea what's going on. Now, I am a fantasy writer myself, guys, and I know all about this. I played the original Fable back in the day and have been a gamer for a very, very long time, so I'd love to talk about what's happening with Xbox's delay of Fable and why it's happening. I still think they're going to miss the mark, which I'll get into later in the video. Hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here, guys, as we are building a new culture to fight against this nonsense. I have a new book coming out later this week. It's actually already out on my web store. I've had it here for a while, and I've never really marketed it. It's called The Demon's Eye, and it's a fantasy novel. It's like a traditional classic fantasy novel, and I have just not released it on Amazon because I've been busy, is really what it comes down to. So the Amazon release is coming out later this week. If you sign up for my newsletter, it'll be in the description below. You get 3 free books. You're going to love this. This is what the type of storytelling Fable should be, or any of these games should be. I'd love to have an RPG made of this game or of this book. You should check it out, guys. So that's coming later this week. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Xbox Game Studios head Craig Duncan announced that the company has delayed Fable from its previously scheduled 2025 release to sometime in 2026. This is more than a year of a delay, guys. This is absolutely huge. We're still going to get it before Grand Theft Auto 6. Don't worry about that. That's the joke. But Fable's been in development for a long time. It's another one of these bloated AAA games that have taken years to develop, that they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on. And they think they have a franchise that can last all this stuff, but it's really not going to. This is going to be that whole thing that's going to tumble another epic franchise. And the thing with all these companies, like in Xbox Game Studios, not only has to have the games on one side, but on the Xbox side, if so many of these platforms fall and so many of these games fall, they lose a lot of money over and over and over again. They can't tolerate those kind of losses. So they know what's happening because of what happened in 2024, because of what our movement did. And this is why it's so important not to break our movement apart, guys. There's bad actors out there who are trying to just sabotage all of us right now. Not a good thing. We got to stay focused, stay with forward momentum, because we're making changes in the game industry. They know they can't get away with this stuff anymore, and it's got the woke so scared right now. They are in an absolute panic, and this is a panic move on behalf of Xbox right here. So during an appearance on the official Xbox podcast, Duncan declared, "I just want to start with really excited, really excited about the progress." Clearly, they're not excited about the progress. Every time somebody like this goes through and says stuff, and look at this, South of Midnight's another woke travesty right here. It's like a trifecta of like, we're going to lose money on this podcast, and they are not excited whatsoever. They're scared. They're in a panic. You can tell from their body language in these interviews these days that they are just like hoping they don't lose their jobs. We know that there's been huge layoffs going on across the industry as these studios have just had a lot of problems, and including one that actually came from Marvel Rivals NetEase, where they laid off a bunch of people in Seattle. And because they are just not working like the Asian developers are. I mean, you can see the huge difference between what's happened with Marvel Rivals, which is just a fun game, with just this stuff, where they're trying to insert the politics into it just to try to brainwash you with a game. And the difference in that motivation is the difference between something that's pretty good and something that's pretty bad. It's very simple when it gets down to it. And they're trying. They're really trying. But they're trying for the wrong reasons. So this is where they are. They said they previously announced the date of Fable is 2025. We're actually going to give Fable more time, and it's going to ship in 2026 now. They have to redo a lot, my friends, because they don't want to deal with an Assassin's Creed where it's like, oh gosh, this game's so far in development, we can't change a lot about it. Let's change the parkour mechanics real quick and hope that polishes the game enough to make people happy enough with it as this goes along. They don't want to deal with that situation because they see how much money Ubisoft's about to lose on this structure. They've seen what's happened on all of these games across the board, and so they really have to give themselves some time to retool this. Otherwise, Fable's going to be dead on arrival. If they go out, if this is like a main component of the game here, and this is the uglification of the game, they're in huge trouble. And they know it. And so they're actually having internal meetings and they're discussing what to do about it, because here's the problem. A lot of these people who work for these companies, especially in the management and like, are true believers. They want this woke stuff in there. They don't care if it hurts the games. They feel like they have a moral obligation to put this in here to try to attack you as a person. And that is exactly what they want in the game. So they're dealing with then pressure to not have that in the game, because it does hurt profits, and the companies know it hurts profits at this point. They know that it's going to be a destruction of a franchise, which is, billions of dollars over time. And so they don't want this happening at that kind of level, at the investor level. So they're at that point where these people have not been fired yet. They've not been removed yet. And so we're seeing some changes in some games to where they're actually marketing wokeness as non-wokeness. We saw it most recently with the Disney show, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, where the actor came out ahead of the show and just said, it's not woke at all. It's really good. Because they understand that woke is the opposite of good. But just because it's something that's kind of competent doesn't mean it's not woke either. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has black replacement characters. It has Peter Parker just in this like realm of minorities. It's totally woke. And so it's absolutely crazy to claim it's not. So we're going to see a little bit of that. And I'm not certain that Xbox really has the will to do something to where they want to actually change this, because we've seen their pattern. These people at Microsoft are the worst of the worst. They are the people who are the true believers in the woke cause, and this is something that's going out there. So he says, this is not what many people may want to hear. What I assure people of, it's definitely worth the wait, and I have unequivocal confidence in Playground Team. Now, I think that this is actually something that probably is a good thing. If they do give it time, maybe they will remove these elements. I don't know. That is their one shot to do things right, to get this franchise to a spot where Fable's not going to be a complete disaster for people, and they do have to knock it out of the park. Now, I think it might be a little too late. The story's in progress. The mechanics are probably in progress. There's not a ton they could do, even in a year's time, because of these bloated studios and these lazy Western developers, as we know. I'm not holding out hope. I'm thinking that it's still going to be a problem regardless, but at the same time, this is the one move they could make to actually do something that could transform the game. So it is something that could be better for players, possibly. Well, let's see how it goes. It was originally announced in 2020. That's how far this has been going along, and that's why I have no faith in it. You know exactly what happens in this stuff. The original trailer was received well. 45,000 likes, 1.6 million views. But in the Showcase 2023, where they showcased our friend here. This is like their poster child. 29,000 likes, 23,000 dislikes after 1.1 million views. Very mixed reaction at that point. So, Xbox showcases last year did 25,000 and 19,000 after 900,000 views. So you can see where this is all going at. It's a very, they split the audience. Things are not going well. A lot of comments are just saying how ugly it is. Last of Us 2 Abby edition. Oof. That's a great comment right there on this thing. And this is the whole deal. If they don't fix this kind of thing and don't pretty it up, people want to play pretty things. It's very simple. It's called fantasy for a reason, and that's exactly what people are demanding out of this. We'll see what happens. I don't have a ton of faith in Xbox, but who knows? Maybe at this point, the woke has lost so much money that they might do the right thing. They might see that the direction of culture is going a different way. It is possible. What do you think about this? Leave a comment down below. Do you think Xbox and Microsoft can do the right thing here? We will be back soon. And please check out my fantasy stuff. You can grab it right now on NDM Express, my website. Or if you want to wait for Amazon, sign up for my newsletter. And I'm going to be doing the full real release of The Demon's Eye very soon. This is good fantasy. They should be hiring me for storytelling for these games. I'm available, guys. Hire me, Xbox. We'll talk to you soon.